Hey, y'all, do yourselves a favor. Whenever you have weather like this, ask yourself, is the job I'm going to earn me more money than the deductible I have on my vehicle? Hey, y'all, remember, if you want to support us, check out the description box below. Check us out on Patreon. Check out the website. All right, y'all, I'm going to do an updated version of a video I did about 2 years ago. So, bear with me, because there are a few updates and things that I left out. First of all, y'all, let me give you a little backstory. I remember years and years ago, I was in jungle school at Fort Sherman in Panama. Did that, completed, graduated, and then I think it wasn't even a month later, I was on the first thing smoking to Alaska for Northern Warfare Training Center. That's a whole story unto itself. Now, it was a heck of an adjustment, but it's easy to do when you're in your 20s, as I was then. But I learned so much about how to deal with the Arctic environment, how to deal with the cold, and I'm going to pass some of that on to you today. First of all, hydration, y'all. It's easy, very, very easy, and I got family members that can attest to that right at this present moment, that when you're out in the cold like this, you tend not to drink water. But a lot of times, especially when the air is dry, you're losing more water just by breathing than you know. So stay hydrated. Even though you don't feel like it, force yourself to drink that water. Try to stay away from things like caffeine. I know that's tough to do, but make sure you kind of ease back a little bit. Anything that has any kind of diuretic in it, you want to try to ease yourself away from it. Maybe consider drinking broth, some kind of soup, something like that. Now that we got some of those basics covered, I want to teach you an acronym, and it's called C.O.L.D. C.O.L.D. And they all stand for something, as an acronym would. C stands for keep it clean. And I'm talking about your stuff. Everything from the hat you wear to the clothing you wear, you name it. Keep it clean. And the reason why is that those little areas within your clothing, within your socks, within everything you wear, that's what maintains your insulating capability. It's not just the material, which, by the way, you want to try to use natural material as much as you can. And folks, for the record, nothing but silk and wool touch this body. There's a reason for that. Natural fibers insulate even when they're cold, even when they're wet, I'm sorry. So that's why I always wear wool socks. And there's some out there, the very socks I'm wearing, the very socks everybody in my family wears, that have a lifetime guarantee as long as you don't dry them. That's kind of hard to beat when it comes to socks. But things like that, you want to make sure they're clean. You don't want to wear them, even though, like I had mentioned to somebody the other day, I think it was Justin at Metcalf Mills, that sometimes I'll go through days and days wearing the same pants. Might sound disgusting to you, but hey, we're saving money, saving water, saving time. But hey, when it's cold outside and these things get any kind of dirty, believe me, I'm washing them. I've worked for years with guys who be out there freezing, wearing a Carhartt jacket, and it's filthy on the outside, as it does when you're doing construction work. When that sort of thing happens, y'all, you're basically deadening the insulating capabilities of your clothing, so keep it clean. All right, the next part of that acronym, O. Avoid overheating. Folks, I can't even begin to tell you how important that is. And you might want to pay particular attention if you're one of the people like us where you're outside working. That's why you want to make sure you don't overdo it. You don't want to be sweating in weather like this. That's the last thing you want to do. That's how hypothermia, all kinds of cold weather injuries happen. Avoid overheating at all costs. All right, now we're going to cover the L. Ain't that right, milk boy? That's my beautiful puppy. Anyway, some of this stuff will overlay with one another. You just got to try to keep him out of the little frog pond that the pigs glayed a while back. Okay, L, loose and in layers. Now, you don't want to be out there just like he is. Look at this. It's loose. Look at that. Look at all that puppy fluff. And in layers. If you sit here and run a brush through him, which I'll never do, but Michelle and Kendra seem to want to do that from time to time, you'll find out that he has different layers, okay? Same thing with those sheep down there. Same with every single animal you have out there. Just even chicken feathers. They got feathers on the outside, loose and in layers. Nature teaches you how this goes, doesn't it, buddy? So loose and in layers. And folks, what I mean by that, that also overlays with the O, with the overheating. Because some of this stuff I know is going to seem like common sense to a lot of folks out there, but when you keep it in loosening layers, it helps you to avoid overheating. Now, don't do like this, I won't even say his name, well, nobody would know him anyway, but he would sit here and take off his outer jacket and then it's snowing like this, and then just lay it on something so it gets all messed up. If you're gonna take this stuff off, make sure you wrap it up. There's a way, maybe in the future I'll show you that. There's a way you can wrap your outer jacket to where a very, very small portion of it should ever get wet if you don't have cover. So if you take that stuff off, make sure absolutely that you protect it. Also with the layers, now with these new pants, and I'll cover them in the future, I used to wear those 511s when I did that last video. And you'll remember if you go back and watch that video, underneath everything I had long johns. I don't have to do that anymore, even though I wear this stuff in colder weather, but that's another video unto itself. But just remember, if you have to, long johns are cool, they're great, they're wonderful, but make sure that you don't find yourself in a position where you stripped off all you have and now you have your let's say a t-shirt and long johns and you're still overheating. So overheating and loosening layers go together. All right, last part, D, and this is critical, and it overlays with some of the other things. All these things are like fingers of your hand, they overlay. Keep it dry. That's what D stands for, keep it dry. And that goes right back to the loosening layers, goes back to overheating. It also goes back to that if you find yourself in inclement weather like we're in right now, it's going back and forth right now from being snow, and then a moment ago we had a little bit of sleet, which we don't want. But remember, if you're out there like we are, and you're working in this stuff, make absolutely sure that you find, look, we all want to get this work done, but don't do it at any cost. You want to make sure that this stuff isn't so soaked that you can't dry it out, or that it can't remain dry, or find things that are, you know, resistant to weather like that. Also, in terms of keeping it dry, there's also some of this stuff, and I'm not a big fan of it. Let's go back to your boots. Right now I'm wearing these muck boots, but there's other times where I'm wearing other boots, and people put these, believe me, I've been wearing boots just like so many others for years and years and years. You can go ahead and get that highfalutin spray that they got out there, and I guarantee it ain't gonna work nowhere near good as mink oil or something like that. Something, especially if you're putting it on leather. You don't want to go get those highfalutin sprays. They're only going to clog up the pores. Remember, the pores are what keep you insulated. So even with your boots, make sure from time to time you wash them off, you clean them off, you dry them good, and then go ahead and put another layer of that mink oil on there. Ain't that right, boy? And as a little side note, for anybody that's wondering, no matter how bad this weather is, he loves it. The colder, the nastier, the wetter, it's like bring it on. And really, we ought to take lessons from nature. He's part of nature as far as we're concerned, and so are these animals. Take a look at what they do and how they mitigate these things. By and large, most animals, when you got them out there, they're going to look for cover as well, so you should do the same. All right, y'all. Remember, check out the website, check us out on Patreon, check out the description box below. We got a lot of cool stuff that'll help you at your farm. Till next time, this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm, where permaculture is my passion. We'll see y'all next time.